Shooting form is one of those things in basketball that you either have in your bag from the get-go or never will. You can go through as much training as you would like, work with as many coaches as money can buy. If your shot is broken, chances are that it always will. And you could just forget about having Klay's or Curry's jumper. Out of the more than 4,000 players that stepped foot on an NBA court, you can bet that at least a few had shot mechanics that would make even a high school coach scream at them. And what better way to start this video than with a multiple-time all-star player and an all-NBA caliber player whose shot was a liability on the court? You heard that right, a multiple-time all-star with a shot so broken that defenses would leave him unguarded anywhere on the court. And no, and I'm not talking about you, Ben Simmons. Me, Joakim Noah, a player who, despite only being able to chuck one air ball after the other, was instrumental to the Bulls' success in the regular season during the early 2010s. Just look at this release. Whatever he's doing on this free throw is definitely not what Naismith envisioned when he first created basketball. Oh, and let me point out that in 2014, this guy was on the first All-NBA team, meaning he was one of the top 5 best players in the league, while doing stuff like this. My dude was looking like he was learning basketball all over again every time that he had to shoot the rock, whether from the three-point line or from inside the perimeter. If you weren't hearing that bricking noise, you can bet that he probably was just airballing a shot instead. Both of this guy's arms were already way in front of him before even releasing the ball. And as you can guess, any NBA player seeing this in front of him would probably be so shocked that he would just let him try his chance. Just look at the entire Clippers bench mocking his ridiculous free throw. While Noah was a center, and jump shots just aren't really supposed to be a part of his bag. Let us now focus on another guy. One who, as a shooting forward, should be a master of this move. Look, I'm not going to say any more. This one picture should be enough to get you to understand what I'm talking about. What is this abomination? Ladies and gentlemen, meet Michael Kidd Gilchrist. This is a guy who was drafted 2nd overall in 2012, in front of players like Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal. One might ask themselves, how did a guy with a shot so broken manage to get drafted this high? Well, some people went on to look through his college archive, and not a single jump shot was found, as if he was hiding something. Well, it worked, because the Hornets ended up betting on him, hoping that he would be the next big thing. And while he was able to get through college, thanks to only his physical attributes, the NBA game is a whole other beast. And what used to once work for him just isn't enough to score in the big league. This brings us back to the monstrosity that you have on your screen right now. I am sure that even if other NBA players tried to shoot with this form, they wouldn't be able to do it. Where is his arms going? How does someone look at themselves in the mirror and go on with this form? During the 2014 offseason, the Hornets really tried to help him fix whatever he had going on with his shot, and so they got him shooting coach Mark Prince. But instead of it actually changing anything, it just gave us this all-time great video. Despite the coach's repeated attempts at explaining to him how to correctly do it, you can see him come back to his weird habits every time that he gets another shot up. So much so that by the end of it, you could even see Mark Price get frustrated by how unfixable this kid's form is. I think that something a bit more extreme should have been tested on him. Like, did no one ever think about tying his left arm to stop it from flinging away every time that he got a shot? Well, seeing how every effort to fix his form has been in vain, we shouldn't be surprised that despite only being 30 years of age right now, he's already out of the league. Remember kids, work on your shooting form. Another player whose video should be shown to every single young kid learning how to shoot a ball is Shawn Marion. This is another multiple-time all-star who had a shot so wicked that he seemed like he was trying to do a chest pass to the rim. In case you didn't know, the last thing that you should do when going for a clean shooting motion is to get the ball that close to your face. Because no, kissing it goodbye is definitely not going to be the deciding factor in it going in or not. This should, in theory, actually make defending it even easier. I mean, the first thing that we get taught when blocking a shot is putting a hand up in front of the face of the shooter. And when the guy is himself putting the ball in that place, chances are that it's going to get easily blocked. And the most awkward thing about all of this is that it sometimes worked. Since Shawn was used to such a weird and quick release, he was able to time and time again use it to beat the shot clock. Just imagine being the opposing team. I would be so demoralized if a shot like this one got in that I would just stop playing. I think that I would rather get dunked on than see any one of those go in against my team. When you get professional journalists who extensively cover the sport to call your jump shot the ugliest one between all 450 active NBA players at the time, then you know that you're doing something wrong. Just watch this clip. I'm sure that despite everything that we've seen so far, there's no way for you to predict whatever you're going to be seeing right now. If you told me that a magnet in the rim tried pulling the ball away from Chuck Hayes, or that the floor was slippery, I would have believed you on the spot. It looked like the ball just didn't want to leave his hand, or that he was hesitant to shoot it. His routine would have him nearly fall over every time that he had to shoot a free throw. And this gave us more than one iconic moment, getting even Allen Iverson to ask for a travel to be called against one of the guy's attempts. With most NBA players mostly used to the timing of usual free throw forms that others have, his uniquely late release caused problems for more than one team, with multiple free throw lane violations called in his favor. I don't understand why referees would want to subject us to more suffering by forcing everyone to watch him shoot again, but rules are the rules, I guess. Oh, and this originality of his extended way beyond just free throws. Just look at this clip. I don't think that many players in the history of the league could realistically hit this shot. Now, how he was able to do it is a mystery in itself, but we'll have to live with it. Straight out of another register, it seems like our next player took the expression throwing the rock a bit too seriously. I mean, he's bringing out a whole medieval weapon with his trebuchet-like shot form. He ain't here to score the basket, he's just looking for the kill. Another proof that Carlos Boozer was throwing one rock after another is that you never heard that swish sound coming from his shots, since legend has it is that he only shot bricks. He was sending the ball so far behind him that you could realistically just poke it out of his hands from behind if you were fast enough. But with hands like his, it's understandable how it just didn't fly out of his hands. But when he did manage to make one, you just had to be in awe at how a shot sent so high up was able to reach its target, especially when you consider how rare of an event that was. The next one is a bit of a low blow, since centers aren't really known to have pretty jump shots. I mean, just 10 years ago, it was crazy for a 7-footer to be attempting jump shots. These players' job was to stay under the rim and dunk any lob coming to him. Now, obviously, I'm not expecting these old players to have a jumper as pretty as Klay's, but there are some things that we just can't accept in our sport, and Camby's form is one of them. Your arms just aren't supposed to move this way if you're playing basketball. This motion isn't natural at all. My boy is out here drowning on the floor and trying to swim to the surface. There's no other explanation for this. Unfortunately for him, with his gigantic 7-footer body, he doesn't leave the ground that much, if at all. And with no lift coming out of his legs, he is just forced to throw that ball with his hands. Even he knows how outlandish his attempts are. Have you ever seen a guy have this reaction to himself after missing a free throw? I certainly did. And his name is Marcus Camby. No weird shooting form video would be complete without featuring the Diesel himself. Imagine being so great that the only way to stop you is to foul you. Well, this is what happened with Shaq. And for all of the greatness that he had in him, he had to be nerfed one way or another. And that came in the form of his horrendous form. He just couldn't make a jump shot if his life depended on it, which is why opposing teams resorted to the now infamous hack-a-Shaq tactic. You would rather have him on the line where he was likely to miss than get his big body to dunk on you. Since this guy is a born entertainer, he knew that instead of wasting time and missing the shots, he had to give the audience something, and that resulted in some of his most iconic moments in the league. You never really knew what to expect from a Shaq free throw. I mean, one second, you're watching him try a one-handed throw, and the other, he's doing a backboard pass to dunk it himself. Talk about special. On the other side of this spectrum, we have Michael Adams. Now, just like Shaq, this is a dude who would leave the entire world shocked by his shooting motion. But unlike him, he would actually get them in, to the surprise of everyone in the arena, from the fans to the coaches and the players themselves. This is a guy who would often attempt one-handed free throws and even regularly make them. Compared to Shaq's 52% career free throw percentage, Adams boasted a crazy 85% from that exercise. That's actually better than both LeBron James and Michael Jordan. So who's the real GOAT of basketball now, huh? May this video be a warning message to all of you guys dreaming of becoming great ballers, because no matter how good or bad you are, chances are that if you had an ugly jumper, that might remain your legacy forever. So get in the gym and start getting those shots up.